What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 34 of The Good, the Bad, and the Freaky. Ian and I are here in the comic section of the Freakopolis Geekery, and what are we talking this week?
This week we're talking E3, Brian Wood and Rick Remender, Black Panther, and much more.
So stick around after the jump to see our thoughts on this week's nerd news. So my good this week actually ties into my bad, so let's kick it off with Ian's.
Sure, so my good this week, Rick Remender and Brian Wood have gotten back to us at the Freakopolis Geekery, and they are more than happy to video Skype in for our comic book club.
Yeah, that's right. Tonight, June 14th, we have Rick Remender After Hours, talking Volume 1 of Deadly Class.
He's also author of Black Science, and he's done some incredible Marvel runs as well.
Yeah, he's a storied writer and, really a legend, and has been a huge inspiration to us since we opened the store, so we're very excited for this opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
If you get the chance, we'll be here around 8:30 talking to Rick Remender tonight, or leave your questions for him in the comments. My good this week is the newly released Black Panther trailer. Black Panther's coming out in early 2018. We saw about a minute and a half of this upcoming movie. It sort of opens with some familiar faces, with Martin Freeman and Ulysses Claw, and then just kicks ass from there on out, basically.
It really does. It looks great. A total kind of switch up from the normal Marvel right now, which is super rainbow colorful. Now we got this really dark kind of midnight Black Panther.
Yeah, we know he moves really well. And he's got this very regal tone and stuff, and it seems to carry through. I'm very excited to see Wakanda.
Yeah, Wakanda, of course, retains that colorful side, but I think all the Black Panther fight scenes were some really dark and gritty kind of stuff.
Yeah. So if you haven't had the chance, go check it out on YouTube. Just search Black Panther trailer. On the other hand, my bad...
No.
Is the Black Panther poster.
Why did you do it? Why would you say, all right, we're going to release the trailer today and make a poster for it?
I think that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I think, they get a cut together that they really like for a trailer, and then realize, oh man, we don't really have anything to tease this with.
No, they don't.
So, some Photoshop artists get called up and say, you have 2 hours to make a poster for, one of the biggest movies of next year.
Right. Spectacular work for 2 hours' time.
Yeah, that's what I think anyways.
Yeah, it really feels like it when you look at those posters, because, his head seems out of place. Even though the throne is cool and the setting is cool, it really doesn't look like it meshes well together.
Yeah, you've got this, weird lighting on his face and stuff, so, Marvel, again, strikes out on the poster.
Poster side of things.
Even that Sony Spider-Man poster that came out recently.
Yeah.
It's just been a bad run of posters for Marvel. So luckily the movies have been good.
Yep.
So we'll keep an eye on that stuff.
So my bad this week was actually E3. Unless you're a Nintendo fan, I think you might have been let down like I was. Sony, they showed off a lot of what they showed off last year, and they didn't show me The Last of Us 2, so a bit of disappointment there. Bethesda pissed off the entire internet by saying nothing on a new Fallout or a new Elder Scrolls. It's coming to VR, but that'll be in the future. And we're gonna bring back paid mods because everyone loved that last time.
Yeah, last year was such a home run. This year was sort of a bummer. We got a lot of news on older games remakes and new platforms and stuff, which is sort of a bummer.
Yeah.
We got the Xbox One X, which is a 4K Xbox, which, some people care about, I suppose.
Yep.
Sony sort of had a lackluster press release.
There weren't very many new IPs or anything to really grab you. I guess Anthem looks pretty cool.
Yeah, Anthem looks pretty sweet. Nintendo has some really awesome games coming out. There's that weird Mario Rabbids thing coming from
but
Ubisoft.
that actually impressed people. So, there's a couple shining lights in there, but all in all, I've definitely seen better E3s than this one.
My freaky actually comes from E3.
Yes.
Despite sort of a lot of lackluster stuff, there was one really cool moment for me that basically, I said earlier in the week, if I saw this, it would make my E3,
Yep.
and that was, of course, Insomniac's Spider-Man project.
Oh, yeah.
We finally got a ton of gameplay from it. I love those Spider-Man games, man. When Spider-Man 2 and Ultimate Spider-Man, Spider-Man 1, as I was growing up, were just some of my favorite games. That web-slinging mechanic.
Oh my god, it was
just
so
classic.
ahead of its time, yeah.
PS2 gameplay. And yeah, we finally saw some of Spider-Man, I think is what it's titled.
Yep.
And it looks really exciting. You know,
It
there's
does.
a lot of environmental play with the web shooting, as well as some, that Arkham Asylum combat, which works really well for Spider-Man
Oh,
since
yeah.
he moves so quickly. I was really impressed.
The time slowing down and stuff during combat was super cool. It was like, oh yeah, this gives you a sense of how fast Spider-Man really is. And then the quick time events, even though I'm not a huge fan of that, you gotta remember that like Spider-Man 2 kind of brought that to the forefront. So
Yeah, very true.
I totally forgive him on it, and it looks super cinematic.
Yeah,
so.
very cinematic. the vertical slice we saw was action-packed and a lot of big set pieces and stuff, and I cannot wait for this game to come out.
So, when I was sitting there at the Sony conference and I was like, so where's The Last of Us 2? And they showed me Spider-Man, I was alright with it. So my freaky this week, Brian Woods comes at Briggs Land once again with Briggs Land Lone Wolves #1, released today.
Yeah, this book has taken a break for, 6 months or something.
Yeah.
But Brian Wood finally got back in the saddle and gave us this comic that comes out today.
Yes, and it looks like Briggs Land is going to be facing quite a lot of turmoil when it gets the attention of pretty much all of America. They're put on the news and in the spotlight, and the story pretty much follows Isaac, the son of Grace, the leader of a separatist area called Briggs Land in upstate New York. And we're really big fans of it because it depicts the area very well, and it name drops things like Albany and the Adirondack Park and whatnot all the time, so it's really cool to be so familiar with the setting. And it's also just a really gripping American crime story.
For sure. So you think the scope is going to be bigger in this run?
It seems so. It seems like social media and the news are really picking up on the Briggs Land area and trying to get a pin down on them.
Nice, that's exciting. I've been waiting for this book for a long time.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to open it up today and give it a read.
And we'll be speaking to Brian Woods next Wednesday.
That's
So
right.
doubly
On,
exciting.
Yeah, June 21st, we'll be talking to Brian Wood here in the Geekery with the Comic Book Club.
Yep.
And that will do it for episode 34 of The Good, the Bad, and the Freaky. Thank you guys so much. If you could like, share, subscribe, and comment, it would mean the world to us and help us to keep the shop open and keep making new videos. Or better yet, stop down at the Freakopolis Geekery in Whitehall, New York, pay us a visit, and
We'll
talk
chat it
some
up.
of these comics and video games and board games and role-playing games and all that good stuff. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.